In his 2013 feature film Mystery Road, director Ivan Sen offers a searing commentary on the lack of power and authority that First Nations individuals face in so many aspects of contemporary life. He uses the barren, desolate locale of a small rural Queensland town to emphasise the effect of this inequality on the protagonist, Aboriginal police detective Jay Swan, played by Aaron Pedersen. The film has been described as a neo-Western thriller that deconstructs the broiling tensions of outback Queensland through a murder mystery narrative, and is highly enjoyable, with excellent performances, dialogue, cinematography, and action sequences. The film was also immensely well received, paving the way for the film's sequel, Goldstone, and TV continuation, Mystery Road Origin. After the discovery of a murdered Aboriginal girl beneath a Queensland highway, newly promoted detective Jay Swan begins to investigate. Jay seeks confirmation of his authority from many people throughout the film. In searching for this, however, he experiences powerlessness and alienation from both his white police superiors and the Indigenous members of the community.
Sarge, bit early for ice cream. I just want to ask you a few questions.
I've got nothing to say.
Tony!
It becomes increasingly clear that Swan has a personal stake in solving the murder to regain his sense of power and identity in both groups.
Bit more than a few black girls to worry about if this town turns into a war zone.
For some people, it already is a war zone.
After my first viewing, I wrote a blog post that suggested that Mystery Road, like other popular films of the time, expertly explores societal divides and an us versus them dynamic. However, Ivan Sen also uses place to take this further through symbolising Jay Swan's isolation and powerlessness with the rural outback location. Mystery Road is set in Winton, Queensland, population 1600 and characterised by its hot, semi-arid temperature and predominantly flat grassland.
Why isn't this crime scene locked off?
I didn't think we'd worry about it out here, Jay. It's the middle of nowhere.
In a recent lecture, senior Bunwurrung man Garen Yaraman Steele discussed how land and people are deeply connected and how we as people have a responsibility to protect and express the beauty of the Australian landscape. In keeping with this philosophy, Ivan Sen quickly establishes a unique sense of place for the audience. The film is enveloped by a warm orange and sepia colour palette and mise-en-scene of shots that continuously return to the landscape of red dirt and open grassland. This naturalism is accentuated through the frequent use of dramatic sunsets and silhouette lighting, capturing the open sprawl of the landscape through which Jay Swan travels. In numerous montage sequences, Sen uses extreme wide shots of Swan's grey Holden sports car driving across the beige grassland to suggest isolation. The use of centre framing, in conjunction with bird's eye shots, is reminiscent of Aboriginal dot painting, where land and people are one. Furthermore, these sequences use minimal scoring and predominantly diegetic sound to emphasise that Jay is on his own.
So what can you give me?
You're just gonna have to ride bareback for a while. There's too much other shit going down.
In discussing the representation of place in film, Stuart Atkin and Leo Zahn argue that places are used to reflect the dominant cultural norms, ethical mores, societal structures and ideologies of the time. Sen also uses place to mount a wider political argument around the disparity between Indigenous communities and white power structures. Regularly, the film sees shots of random police searches of Indigenous children and racist hostility.
Are you a real cobber, are you? One of them black trackers who turns on his own tie.
We usually shoot fellas who turn up here without an invite, especially ones of the dark breed.
Jay is caught between these two worlds. With little authority in each, he seeks to reconcile a sense of justice with culture and power. Mystery Road isn't a celebration of Indigenous culture, nor is it a disparagement of law enforcement. Rather, director Ivan Sen uses the place of Winton, Queensland to reflect upon the struggles that First Nations people face balancing their culture and community with alien power and authority structures imposed from colonisation. Jay Swan pursues the murder investigation as he feels that by solving the case, he will gain recognition and status within the Indigenous community, as well as authority and power from his white police superiors. However, as symbolised by the isolated, barren place of Winton, Queensland, Swan comes to realise that by accepting a role in the white police power structure, he truly isn't accepted by either group, and has authority over no one.